Hey, HeelCast Nation, what is up? I am joined tonight by his second debut on the HeelCast, Larkin. Larkin, what's going on?
What's up, man? Happy to be talking about Impact tonight and to talk about the year that is 2017.
Yes, definitely. And folks, be patient with me. I have a cold. So if I sound a little different tonight, it's because I got sick on Christmas Day, actually. So nothing I can really do about that. But alas, we are here, and it's going to be a very, very special episode. We are going to be running down 2017 in the year that was for Impact Wrestling. We're going to be giving away the awards to who we think most deserve it. Me and Larkin are going to have we're going to have different opinions on it, and that's perfectly fine. We're not going to agree on everything, but it's going to be great discussion. And hopefully we do not get interrupted by Ric Flair. For those of you wondering, listen to last year's award show, the 2016 award show. You will hear that Ric Flair made his appearance on the HeelCast and interrupted us all. So hopefully tonight that's not going to happen. Hopefully I'm not going to have any audio problems like I did last week. We're trying something different this week with the audio portion of it. So I should be coming in a lot more clear, even though I'm pretty sick. But you should still be able to hear me better this week. So that's good. So shout-outs. I want to give some shout-outs. You can find all our content at impactasylum.net. The booking challenge just wrapped up. I don't know who won yet, but I know it just wrapped up. I know, I was in it for a while. Raven Effect was in it. FK9 was in it. So it was a really fun time. It's just I had to tap out after week 4 because it was just getting too much. I was running out of time, and I didn't want to hold everybody up. So I had to tap out after week 4, unfortunately. But maybe someday I will be able to finish what I started and at least let you guys know where I was headed with all my storylines. But anyways, also check out BQ. He does the Impact Lounge. It's a great podcast. We also have Robert Does Wrestling. He's got his own podcast. Make sure you check him out. Check out Andre Corbeil, great listener. Check out Larkin. You do your own stuff as well, don't you?
Yes, sir, I do. I got the S&M Show podcast. It's Steve and Mike, not that type of party, but because with some people, it's a playoff of that S&M, if you will, in a way, but it's not. It's our name, Steve and Mike. So there's tons of stuff on there. There's the S&M Show Podcast Network, which is on SoundCloud, MC Larkin 92. Steve and I have our own show. There's other stuff on there, Golden Age Everything, where we look back at the 70s and 80s. I've had a lot of interviews lately with a lot of wrestling talents such as Congo Kong, TNA original D-Ray 3000. The plan for the new year is going to have former TNA knockout Peyton Banks, who was with Bobby Roode back in the day. That's another TNA original for you, better known as Rain on the independent scene. And a lot more guests, such as Kid Cash, who was in there as well, possibly Chase Stevens. So I'm working on a ton of stuff coming in the new year.
That's awesome. Peyton Banks, I'd definitely be interested to hear that. She was only in TNA for so long, but she definitely left her mark. That's for sure.
She did.
But anyways, FK9, he's got his own podcast. Make sure you check him out. I believe Petey Williams has a podcast called The Wrestling Perspective. Check that one out as well. If there's any others I'm forgetting, my bad. But anyways, that's the ones we got for shout-outs this week. Let's get to the news. There's really not a lot of news this week. There's kind of ramping up for 2018 already, but the only one we really got was Laurel Von Ness had an interview with the Orlando Sentinel?
Yeah.
Okay. And they basically asked, was the whole contract, what's up with her contract? Are the reports true? that you asked for your release, and she really didn't say anything. I thought it was kind of a non-answer what she gave, but she also said she was very proud of winning the Knockouts title and all the work that goes into it. And she also said that, or I believe somewhere in the interview, it said her contract expires in June of 2018, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, that's really all we got on that subject. Any thoughts on that, Larkin?
Yeah, dude. I'll be honest with you. I think Laurel Van Ness, Chelsea Green, wherever she goes, she's a huge asset. I mean, right now she's a Knockouts champ, huge asset to the Knockouts division, tremendous competitor. Trained by Lance Storm. I could definitely see her WWE bound because her boo there, her boyfriend, Mr. Zack Ryder's there. I hope she sticks around because, like I said, there's so many matches that we can get out of that division. Possibly her against Sienna, her and Rosemary could have a great feud. But yeah, man, if she does go, I understand it. Like I said, she's an asset to whatever company that she does go to. But right now, she's the Knockouts champion, and I look forward to seeing where she progresses in the new year, that being 2018.
Yeah, definitely. I think Impact would be losing a hell of a talent if they lost her. I think we still haven't even seen her best ring work. I thought her winning the Knockouts title a couple weeks ago was a really good match, and we don't generally get to see that from her. We haven't got to see that a lot from her in 2017. So I'm hoping she sticks around 2018. You'll get to see more of what she can actually do in the ring. So.
Absolutely, man. And I mean, then you look at so many knockouts that are coming in. I mean, one I really have an eye for is that Casey Spinelli, tremendous talent in the Canada area. I mean, her and Rosemary on the Indies were known as the Danger Zone. And I think a hell of a matchup would be Rosemary and Casey Spinelli due to their dichotomy and the dynamic that they would have. I think Casey Spinelli adds a lot. And whoever else comes into the Knockouts division, I mean, Tennille Dashwood, the former Emma, who was in the WWE, I think she would add a lot. They could possibly add a lot of dream matches there as well. Her and Rosemary, her and Laurel Van Ness, Casey Spinelli, Taya Valkyrie when she comes back in 2018. I mean, there's a lot of great dichotomy and a lot of great matchups that we could see, coming to fruition in 2018.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, her and Allie, they've had such, a long history on the Indies, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen them face off against each other, at least not one-on-one.
Who, Laurel and Allie?
Not Laurel and Allie, Allie and Rosemary.
Allie and Rosemary? No. We saw them in the triple threat with Sienna, but no, I don't think we've actually had the one-on-one because, yeah, like we said, the independent team, when they had their feud, it's tremendous, but not one-on-one. I don't recall seeing them go one-on-one. Multi-women matches, yes, but not necessarily one-on-one. I think you're right on that.
Yeah, because, they had a blood feud on the Indies, and you would think eventually Impact would like to, capitalize off of that. It was highly praised from a lot of different people that I know. So I understand, they're kind of both on the same side right now, but maybe in 2018 we'll get that somewhere down the line. I think it would be great.
Myself included.
Yeah. So other than that, there's really not much news I can think of. Larkin, do you have anything else to bring to the table? Because besides just, speculation and all that.
Here's the thing, dude. It's holiday time, usually around this time for professional wrestling, wherever company it may be, Impact Wrestling, your WWEs, your Indies, etc. It really is slow around this time. But, yeah, the Laurel Van Ness one really is the only thing that really stuck out to me as much as yourself, dude. But, yeah, man, it's going to be very interesting to see what 2018 brings from the Impact side of things. So that's really all I can say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I got you. Well, with that, let's get into the meat and potatoes, as Kyle would say.
Yes.
Anyways, so 2017 was kind of a crazy year for Impact Wrestling. I don't necessarily think it was better than 2016. 2016 was pretty good for Impact. 2017 was kind of all over the place,
It was very sporadic, absolutely.
And that kind of had to do with a changing of the guard a couple times.
Yes.
If you listen to our last year's podcast on the 2016 award show, we were obviously very, very excited for, the changes that were coming. We knew basically that Jeff Jarrett was coming into the company. We knew that Dutch Mantel was probably coming in, and we knew that Scott D'Amore was probably coming in as well. Well, most of that turned out to be true. However, what we didn't know is that Jeff Jarrett would be going to rehab, and a lot of firings would be taking place because Jeff Jarrett is no longer with Impact Wrestling, for better or for worse. So,
yeah, man. Jeff Jarrett is, I definitely want to see him well because he's a huge part of Impact's history. Since day one. When we saw, this year earlier, man, we had a lot of people out the door. We had Drew Galloway, the Hardys, Mike Bennett, Mike Kanellis. A lot of departings earlier in the year. We had some departings later on in the year. But, it's been a very crazy time for Impact Wrestling this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Excuse me. But, you started off the year, it was still being run by John Gaburik.
Yep.
For the first set of tapings, which I thought was kind of odd, especially, since you got Jeff Jarrett taking over. I guess they kind of wanted to wait and see, how things were kind of being run. But then you get into the March tapings and everything just kind of changed within, one night. You had Bruce Pritchard come back and he gave a long promo. You had Dutch Mantel give a long promo. You could just see, the fingerprints of Jeff Jarrett. And for the next few weeks, it kind of, it took a while. It took a while for the, the wheels to get rolling a little bit. But, you had some really cool things like Impact going to India for the first time. And I thought those shows were really good. And those led to Slammiversary. And, I thought Slammiversary was a pretty solid pay-per-view.
It really was. I think for me, just to see JB and Joseph Park against Scott Steiner and Josh Matthews, where, he turned to Abyss. We saw Father James Mitchell. We saw Shark Boy. That was great. The Ultimate X match was tremendous. It was a solid show, and I think just to see Jeremy Borash take the thumbtacks, his hands in the thumbtacks, it was a brutal spot. It just showed that he really went out because he's another guy that's been there since day one. Just JB does what he does for the company, very passionate. Well, every one of those guys and gals on that show worked their butts off.
Yeah, definitely. For him to do a spot like that was just insane. He's not a wrestler, obviously. So, and you could tell, like, after he took that spot, it hurt like hell. You could just see it on his face.
Yes.
But then after Slammiversary, you had the tapings, obviously, which I thought they were pretty good. But then so that was July. Now, did those tapings, go all the way into Bound for Glory, or did they have another taping after that?
I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I think they actually might have just all went into Bound for Glory. It felt like it all blended together. I think one of the ones that really got us, too, was because around that time, we were supposed to have Taryn Terrell in that Slammiversary matchup, and then all of a sudden, she's done. So that kind of put a monkey around that. Yeah.
No, you mean Bound for Glory.
I'm sorry, that's Bound for Glory. You're right. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I think there might have been a taping in there between. Okay, the Slammiversary tapings, I think I thought those ones were good, and then I think there might have been another taping after that, maybe like, I want to say August. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I thought those tapings, you could just kind of see, like, they just kind of lost some focus a little bit, and, and then that's kind of the reports that we heard that, Jeff Jarrett was, he's getting sent home for, personal issues, and, like, we didn't really know what was going on, but then you hear, he's been drinking at an indie show, and he went to the ring drunk, and his whole stuff that happened at Triple Mania. So, so that was just really unfortunate. And I thought, when your leader is not 100%, it's going to show that your shows aren't going to be 100% either. So I think Bound for Glory was just, they were trying to make so many changes because of what was supposed to happen. Like, Jeff Jarrett was supposed to be in Bound for Glory some way, shape, or form. I think he was the one who was supposed to be in that American Top Team feud. But obviously that didn't happen, you know.
Yeah, and then you hear speculation that they were talking about doing a Jeff Jarrett Alberto El Patron match. So, and it's unfortunate because we could have got a great match out of that. But yeah, it's unfortunate what happened there. We saw, and then we also again, the departures, dude. That friggin' Marche Rocket was gone. MJ Jenkins was gone. We mentioned Terrence Harrell, and then also another big part about for Glory, we were supposed to get that Red Wedding match with Rosemary and Taya Valkyrie, and then Taya Valkyrie, when the situation happened there, and then we would just see Rosemary get involved in Abyss versus Grado in the Monsters Ball.
Right. There was so much stuff that we were supposed to get at Bound for Glory originally, and I feel like all those changes just kind of, they kind of hurt the product a little bit. Just so much, backstage stuff that just kind of, really went against the company. So I felt, though, that, we kind of ended the year strong. I thought the Canada tapings, to what we've seen so far, have been pretty solid. I like how they're really using Petey Williams, and there's a lot of good stuff like OV versus LAX. Ishimori's getting a good pop over there. So, I think the Canadian tapings have been pretty good so far.
I've enjoyed it myself. I mean, we have the EC3 Matt Sydal storyline progressing, the knockouts. I thought Laurel Van Ness against Rosemary was great. I'm really enjoying this LAX OVE feud. I think Sami Callihan adds a lot to the Chris brothers and their whole stable there. It's just really, I've been enjoying it as well. I mean, a lot of solid in-ring work. You can tell those guys and gals have just been ripping ass these last couple months.
Yeah, definitely. So that kind of brings us, what was 2017 in a nutshell. It was a lot of ups and downs, but I mean, one thing I can definitely say that 2017 brought back was the X division.
Yes.
They definitely put a big focus on the X division. There's no question about that. So I'm really excited for that.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully that trend continues going into 2018.
Oh, yeah, dude. The Trevor Lee, Caleb Conley dichotomy, they're hilarious. I enjoy them very much. Ishimori has been getting a shot. Desmond Xavier is tremendous. There's just a lot of great talent in that X division scene, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really looking forward to seeing where that progresses as well going forward.
Right. So, all right, let's get to our first award. This award, we talked about, like, what was the criteria for this award. What do you think was the 2017 Impact Rookie of the Year? And the criteria for this award is they couldn't have come from WWE, Lucha Underground, or Ring of Honor. They had to have just gone from basically a company that's not on national television.
Okay.
All right.
So,
who in your opinion was the impact? Who would you give the 2017 Rookie of the Year to?
I think it's the tie between, for me, I was going to say either Ishimori or Desmond Xavier. I think if I had to pick between the two, I'm going to have to give it to Desmond Xavier. I mean, he won the Super X Cup, and I think he's another guy on the rise. Same with Ishimori. That one was really tough for me, but I definitely am going to have to go with Desmond Xavier.
Wow, yeah, definitely well-deserved. I personally, I had to give it to Santana from LAX.
Okay.
He was, he came right in those March tapings, and, they had a lot to live up to the old LAX because, Homicide and Hernandez, they did their thing. But, these guys, we didn't really know too much about them, but, man, they just killed it as soon as they got in there. So, no offense to Ortiz. I think he's a solid worker as well. I just see a lot of potential in Santana. So my Rookie of the Year for 2017 is Santana. All right.
Man. Yeah, I like that. The thing with LAX too, I just definitely want to comment on what you said there because I was a little like about it when they came in, Santana, Ortiz, because when you think of LAX, you think of Homicide and Hernandez, and then you brought Diamante in, who is just, I believe is going to be a great asset to the Knockouts division. because, the original one we had as far as a female goes for LAX, we had Salinas, who was Shelly Martinez. But, yeah, man, I think LAX has been killing it, and I definitely see a lot going for the futures of both Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah, definitely. They had, like I said, they had big shoes to fill. Homicide and Hernandez did their thing in TNA for so long that when you got Ortiz and Santana coming in, they had a lot to live up to. But I think, when you look at the whole year, I think they did some great stuff, had some killer matches, and did their thing. And Desmond Xavier was a close second for me. He did awesome as well. I mean, he won the X Cup. He put on some phenomenal matches. We really didn't know a lot about him, but man, he killed it out there. So it was definitely a tough choice for me. But let's go to our second award. Now, this award is going to be 2017 Impact Newcomer of the Year. Ooh. Now, this obviously it can be a rookie.
Okay.
Somebody new, but it can be anybody that's just come into Impact, and it can be from any company. Why don't you start this one off? Who do you got?
Okay. I'm going to say this because I thought he added a lot to this tag team, and I've seen him all over the world, and I think he's great. Man, I'm going to give this to Sami Callihan. I know he's been all over the world, but I think he really, really did add a lot to OVE this year. And so I'm going to go with Sami Callihan for this one.
That's a solid choice. I was really happy when they brought him in. Obviously, he was a guy that when I looked at this, I was really thinking, should I give him the award? I was very close, but I got to go with Johnny Impact.
Okay.
The guy, I wanted to see this guy in Impact for so long since he left. WWE. I always felt he was always underutilized there, even despite his promo skills. Not the greatest, but the guy's a phenomenal talent. I always feel like he can just do it in the ring. He doesn't really need a microphone.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, in WWE, he was in that mid-card hell position for so long, and he finally. He gets to Impact, and, he's been doing good in Lucha Underground as well. Don't get me wrong, but I really wanted to see him in the six-sided ring, and I think he's delivered quite a lot so far.
I'll agree with you on that because I remember watching him in the WWE. He was always Intercontinental United States Champion, status in that mid-card. And then I think he really reinvented himself as Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground, with the Take Him to Slamtown, which he's using as Johnny Impact as well. And ever since he's come to Impact, I really think he's had nothing but stellar performances. And him and Alberto El Patron, I enjoyed the brawl that they had, and I've really been enjoying some of their matches. I know they had a great match in Lucha Underground as well. So I definitely would concur with you on Johnny Impact as well. He's another stellar athlete.
Yeah, definitely. So it was a very, very good signing for Impact to get him and Taya Valkyrie. I think she adds a lot to the division as well. But all right, let's go to Breakout Star of the Year. Who do you got for Breakout Star of the Year?
Ooh, that is you know what? For Breakout Star of the Year, I'm going to go with none other than our current reigning defending champion, Mr. Eli Drake.
That's a very, very good one. He was my Breakout Star last year, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. So, I'm not going to go with him.
Okay.
I'm going to go with, believe it or not, I'm going to go with Trevor Lee. I'm going to go with Trevor Lee.
That's another good choice.
I think he improved from 2016. I think 2017, he showed he's like one of the dominant X Division guys, and I think he can do some tag team work too. He's held that X Division title for a long time. I hope that in the future, he can possibly go into the Grand Division, even heavyweight someday. But I think he's my breakout star. I think he got comfortable on the mic this year. He broke away from Shane Helms, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to give it to Trevor Lee this year. But, your pick with Eli Drake, definitely a good pick. I could have given it to him another year easily, So, all right. Goes to our next category, which is going to be 2017 Impact's biggest moment.
Ooh, man, that's crazy. I got to think now because there's a lot of stuff that happened this year. Like I said, very groundbreaking and a lot of sporadic stuff that happened this year. So if I was gonna say something, you know what? I'm going to pick Alberto El Patron coming in and defeating Lashley for the World Championship. And just his pride. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a definite, solid pick. I mean, that happened at Slammiversary. It was a really good match.
Yes, sir.
It was a good 20-minute match, back and forth, really good match. So, yeah, that's definitely a solid pick by you.
Cool.
I'm gonna say for Impact's, biggest moment, they had a lot this year, like you said. We got the app, the Global Wrestling Network app. You can watch all things Impact Wrestling all the time. That was really cool. I mean, I have it. It's awesome. I can watch Explosion now.
Yep.
Whereas before I couldn't. So, but overall, I think the biggest moment for Impact was their Impact tapings in India. I think that was really, really big. They were the first United States company to have a wrestling show over there on national television. So they might have been the first company to do that in the world, I believe.
Yeah.
So I think that was very significant, and I think that would be the biggest moment for me for Impact Wrestling. Just to have Impact taped over there, I think is just a big deal in itself. So whenever you're able to claim first, at something, I got to give that to it. But
oh yeah, and we had Sanjay Dutt win the X Division Championship from Loki there, which was a very big moment.
Exactly, and that was really cool. So it was a really, really awesome match. So all right, let's go. 2017 Impact's best event/show.
I'm going to have to give it to Slammiversary because, as I said, a lot of solid stuff. I really did enjoy JB and Joseph Park against Steiner and Josh Matthews, which going into it, I was a little but as I said, it really exceeded my expectations. Great tag team action, just a lot of great matches on that show. Alberto and Bobby Lashley was really good, so I'm gonna say Slammiversary.
Yeah, I agree. Slammiversary for me would be one. I enjoyed Slammiversary quite a bit. I thought it was a solid wrestling pay-per-view. Second, I'll probably go Destination X. I believe that was the one filmed in India, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that's the one where Sanjay won the title, right?
Yes, where he beat Loki.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say that was the second, but just the way Slammiversary had a stacked card, I have to give it to Slammiversary for that. Bound for Glory had its issues, so I'm not going to give it to Bound for Glory. I enjoyed Impact's One Night Only Live, which was earlier in the year, but nothing really big happened. There's just a lot of really good matches, so I'm going to give it to Slammiversary. So, hey, it's our first one we agree on.
There you go. Now, here's the thing, though. Bound for Glory, there was a lot of solid stuff. I think what just does it for us, that main event with Eli and Johnny Impact, I really could have done without Alberto's interference. I think it really put a bad taste in your mouth at the end of that show. I think that's what really kind of made me not say Bound for Glory and go towards Slammiversary on that one.
Oh, I agree. I agree with you. Eli Drake could have won the match, and then Alberto could have just done what he did after the match was over. That probably would have, let's just say, those dusty finishes, whenever you have them at big pay-per-views, unless you do them perfectly, there's going to be so many people that complain. I mean, it's just the way it is now. I think the NWO kind of ruined it for everybody, you know.
Yes.
Because, I mean, there was so many dusty finishes in WCW. And, I mean, WWE's had their fair share of them, too. I mean, I can think off the top of my head, WrestleMania 27, you know, with The Miz and John Cena, Rock, you know, they've had their fair share of dusty finishes. And, you know, it is what it is, and I get it. But I just think that, you know, he could have done what he did after the match was over, and it would have came across just perfect.
Absolutely.
So, all right. I guess you could kind of view this award as a negative award, but it doesn't always have to be. But what would you say was the biggest news story for Impact in 2017?
Ooh, biggest news story for Impact. I think, like I said, I'm going to try not to be negative, but for this was a big one. Jeff Jarrett leaving GFW and the situation that happened with Jeff Jarrett. So I got to go with Jeff Jarrett leaving GFW.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's unfortunate circumstance. It's like, I mean, if you listen to our last year's show, last year's show, I mean, we were so, you know, pumped up for Jeff Jarrett to come in. Because, like, we knew what we were getting with Jeff Jarrett, you know, and we just had, you know, the reign of Dixie and Gaburik. Yep. You know, maybe they're like backstage, and it's fine, you know, but obviously, you know, we wanted something different at that point. But, you know, it is what it is. I think Jarrett, he tried, but, and he's got to get his, you know, his personal stuff together. But it's too bad that I don't think Jeff Jarrett's going to be back anytime soon.
The thing is, I saw he's like doing like a show in Nashville, I think, or some indie show like within like the next month. He's appearing on something. I don't think it's to wrestle. I think it's like a signing or something. But he's already doing like an indie show.
Wow. Well, I know he mentioned, you know, Anthem ran out of money when he was, you know, when he said he had to comment on why he's not there anymore. But, you know, is what it is. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? There's nothing we can control. But I think the biggest news story was kind of went along with yours. Is I just think like the whole changeover to GFW and then back to Impact Wrestling. I think that one hurt. I think that one hurt a lot of fans because they probably shouldn't have changed the name to begin with, you know, and they should have just kept with Impact Wrestling. And then, you know, unless you were going to buy out, you know, and own the IP of GFW, it really just didn't make sense at all.
No.
So I think along with your, you know, Jeff Jarrett being forced out, I think that was definitely the big news story. I think a close second was the battle of the broken gimmick with Matt Hardy and Ed Nordholm and Rebby Hardy, and I think that, you know, that was right up there.
Yes.
I mean, that storyline almost got annoying. Like, we just didn't want to hear about it anymore. But now that you see what, you know, WWE's doing with it, yeah.
The only thing I can mention about it is, you know, I watch everything, man. So I see it. Am I looking forward to seeing what they're going to progress with it? Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, Madison Square Garden, they just did a show last night, and tonight they're at the Coliseum. So Matt Hardy has the new music. It's sort of similar to what he had in Impact, like piano music stuff. And somebody put up a video of it because they were at the house show, and like, I mean, people were like, with it, but once you started doing the delete, you know, they got really into it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is with that whole scenario. After a while, yeah, like you said, it kind of just got like annoying to hear about it over and over again. But yeah, that is what it is. So they got that whole thing resolved and shit's taken care of now.
Right. I just think it's kind of like, and maybe I'll get some heat for this, but it's almost kind of like the broken gimmick was George Lucas owned Star Wars.
Okay.
The Woken gimmick is more Disney owned Star Wars type stuff. So, I mean, you know, unless you're really the guy who, you know, had full control and created it, it's just not going to come off the same. And I don't think it has.
I think Matt Hardy just put out something like if it wasn't for Jeremy Borash and them, I wouldn't be, what I am. Or he put something recently out on that, pretty much pertaining to the whole gimmick and stuff. I mean, he mentioned JP and all that, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, just the whole situation this year has just been a little sticky and just it got, like I said, got annoying.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I'm glad, both sides figured out a way to be happy about it. I think Ed Nordholm was led in one direction under Jeff Jarrett, and now I think he's led into a different direction under Callis and, DeMore. They
Yep.
have a different viewpoint of it. So,
Absolutely.
whatever. But there's a lot of news stories for 2017 for Impact Wrestling.
Yep.
I'm not saying they were all negative. They did a lot of good stuff, and
They did.
a lot of the wrestling sites don't report that, which is a shame, but they do what they got to do, I guess.
Exactly.
All right, next award is Most Improved. Who do you got for Most Improved?
Most Improved Wrestler. Oof. Oh, man, this is another tough one. Who would I say is most improved? You see, because I really do like a lot of these guys and gals, but it's a tough one for me. I'm probably going to have to give it to... Oh, man. Who am I going to give it to? You know what? As far as most improved wrestler goes, it's a tough one. But you know what? I'll give it to someone who is in the Knockouts division. I have to say Sienna's been really stepping up her game. So I think Sienna's improved a lot since, first coming in with Maria and, Allie and that whole storyline. I think she's really stepped up her game in 2017 and just put on a lot of great matches and has been kicking butts. I'll say Sienna.
Oh, that's a very good choice. I mean, last year I gave this award to Crazy Steve.
Crazy Steve, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought, he did some phenomenal work last year with Decay, and I gave it to him. This year, I just think, as weird as this sounds, because, I gave breakout star to Trevor Lee, but I'm going to give most improved to Eli Drake. And not necessarily mic skills. He's always had the mic skills. I just want to say his wrestling skills. His wrestling skills have, just went from, here to way up here,
Oh, yeah. Well, compared to what he did, Hurls when he first came in with the whole, the Rising, when it was him, Micah, and Drew Galloway. I mean, he's just soared ever since that and when he broke away from him.
I mean, yeah, definitely. And it's just like, he had a lot of pressure to deliver at Bound for Glory, and in the main event. And he rose to the occasion. I mean, he's added stuff to his moveset that make the fans go, ooh and ah,
Mm-hmm.
So he's done a hell of a job just raising his game all around. Like, we knew he could talk. We knew he can go. He could go, but could he really go? And he went toe-to-toe with Johnny Impact and put on a phenomenal match.
He did.
He's putting on phenomenal matches all year long. Like, him and Petey Williams was just awesome match. So my most improved from last year, because there's a lot of wrestlers that came and went. I'm going to give it to Eli Drake, and my second pick, my runner up for this would be probably Moose.
Oh yeah,
and Moose has really elevated his game, and he's just been a phenomenal wrestler. But I just think Eli Drake just brought it to a whole new level in 2017. So.
Yeah, and the thing with Moose, too, is I've seen that dude in Ring of Honor do his thing, and then when he came to Impact, I mean, that guy is just, for his size, super athletic. The dude is tremendous.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, 2017, Best Talker. Who do you got for Best Talker?
I've always loved his promos, and he's going to be another one that I picked since I used him in another category. I got to go Eli Drake again, man. I've loved the dummy, let me talk to you. I mean, he's just so funny and entertaining. I got to go with the champ, Eli Drake.
I had Eli Drake last year for Best Talker.
Okay.
But this year, I feel Eli Drake, he had some good promos, don't get me wrong, but I feel like this year was the year of Conan. Conan always delivers solid lines, and I felt like his promos this year got the most heat.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a lot of backstage segments. Obviously, he's only a manager at this point in his career, but still, like, Conan brings it every time, gets the crowd fired up. I got to give it to Conan with a runner-up, Eli Drake.
Okay. Well, Conan, yes, with the serious, like, a late period, and, LAX, we back in the cut. So, yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from with Conan as well.
Right. I mean, yeah, he does a lot of catchphrases or a lot of, lines that he says, but, like, there's just, like, this past week with Sami Callihan, I mean, just some of the stuff he was threatening him, like, with his life and stuff. I just thought, like, this guy's so intense, like, you don't want to mess with him, even though he's well past his prime at this point. But still, the guy just brings it. So I got to give it to Conan. I just think he makes LAX, like, without Conan, I mean, it's happened before, but he just makes them so much more vicious than they actually are by themselves. So I'm going to give it to Conan. My runner-up is going to be Eli Drake. So, all right, let's go. It's a big war here. 2017 Knockout of the Year.
Oh, man. Okay, Knockout of the Year. I was originally going to say Sienna. That is actually going to be my runner-up. If I had to give it to the Knockout of the Year, got to give it to another one of my favorites. It's a tie between Rosemary and Laurel Van Ness. If I had to pick between the two, I'm going to go with Laurel Van Ness because she's just been involved in so many stuff. The stuff with Grado, and just her character is nuts. And just I got to give it to Laurel Van Ness.
That's a solid pick. I think this year, I'm going to go with Sienna.
Okay.
I think I mean, she had a really good 2017. She had the title, and she was in some really good matches, and she was in some big storylines. I mean, she had the one with Karen Jarrett, and, she was put in some high positions. So I like the stuff with her and KM, bringing KM along. I think that was pretty cool. I think the promos that he was doing, Are You Calling Me a Liar? Those things were hilarious. With the pizza delivery guy and the senator. Those are hilarious.
He's the Biff Tannen of Impact Wrestling.
That's right. And I thought that those were great. So I think Sienna all around for 2017. I think she was the Knockout of the Year. But my runner-up is definitely Rosemary.
Mm-hmm.
Reason being because 2016 she played the heel. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2017 she played. She turned face, and I think it was a different adjustment for her. But I think I almost think like, wow, like she can do both really well. So it's gonna be hard, going forward. Like, well, maybe they just make her a face because she's so over with the crowd. And she's like one of the best built characters Impact's had in a while. So I think Rosemary's my runner-up, but you could easily put her as Knockout of the Year as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's really no wrong answer. And I think Laurel Van Ness, she just kind of started going at the end of 2017, so I can't give it to her. But she had a hell of a year, though, like developing that character. What are they calling her now? The Lush? They're calling her something the Lush.
Oh yeah, I heard that too. Yeah, something Lush. You're right.
Yep. I can't remember the name the name in front of it, but yeah, she had a good 2017 too, winning the Knockouts title. But overall, I got to give it to Sienna this year. And you're going Rosemary, and you're going Rosemary.
Yeah, well, yeah, Rosemary and Sienna were like my two runner-ups, but I picked Laurel just because I think her character and she's just tremendous in the ring. And, going back to, Rosemary Turner face, I mean, the beginning of the year, the whole thing, when Brandy Rhodes was still with the company and they did that thing where she tried to recruit Brandy Rhodes into Decay, I was not much of a fan of. But then once we got towards the face turn, I thought she was tremendous. I've always said if you want to look at some of her face work, look at Shimmer when she was Courtney Rush doing the thing with Sarah Del Rey. But, yeah, she's tremendous either way, man. She's great.
Nice. All right. Next category we got would be 2017 Impact Feud of the Year. Now think long and hard because, we've had a lot of different feuds for this year. What is your feud of the year?
I'm going to have to say it's a toss-up between Impact Wrestling versus America's Top Team and LAX versus OVE.
Why don't you say why you chose those?
Sure. Impact against America's Top Team. I've loved Dan Lambert's promos. I think he's a great character. And I think just watching the skinny guy, the small one that constantly gets kicked that gets his ass kicked by James Storm is tremendous. LAX and OVE, I just think Sami Callihan adds a lot, and I think I really think they've rejuvenated and had some great matches in the tag team division. So that's why I picked those two. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Those are solid choices. I mean, you can't really go wrong with, either one. So, no, it's good. My feud of the year this year, when I'm thinking about it long and hard, I have to go with Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards. I think,
yes.
I mean, you could include Angelina Love and Alicia Edwards in there, but I mean, like a fellow HeelCaster said, Robert, he said, this thing got 20 million views on YouTube. I mean, it did it for a reason, and the clip was, Davey Richards and Angelina Love just beating the crap out of Alicia Edwards and Eddie Edwards. I mean, I just thought this was, they made it really well. Some people, didn't like their match anniversary, but I thought it did the job. It was brutal. It was hard hitting. It was hardcore. There was a lot of sick bumps in that.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
I
mean, that whole thing with Angelina Love going after Alicia Edwards, beating her like she stole something. I mean, those matches were tremendous. I definitely would rank that up there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's just that I have to give that my feud of the year for this because I thought that was just a solid match.
Yep.
So next, we're going to go with Tag Team of the Year, 2017 Tag Team of the Year. Who you got?
2017 Tag Team of the Year. I think that's an easy one. I'm going to give it to LAX.
Yeah. You and me both. Let's just put it that way.
Exactly.
Once the Hardys left, and the whole expedition of gold was over, I mean, it was LAX all the way. I mean, besides OVE now, but they weren't challenged. I mean, at Slammiversary, they beat Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid. They beat Ishimori and Marufuji. They beat Phantasma and Drago. I mean, they beat Veterans of War. I mean, who else came close to these guys?
The thing is, Reno Scum could have had a shot, but unfortunately, Thornstow got injured. But I mean, they were fine. We saw Falaba and Mario Bocaro for a little bit, but yeah, no, nothing compares to the work that LAX did this year. Santana Ortiz, definitely Tag Team of the Year. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'm hoping that 2018 is going to be a better year for Impact as far as tag teams go. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit more. I mean, we got a lot of tag teams. They weren't really used that well. Like Okara and Falaba, obviously, we didn't really see enough of them.
Now Falaba is just going to be going towards January 4th. He's going to be in that triple threat match with EC3 and Seidel for the Grand Championship. So they're doing something with Falaba.
Right. And, you just wish that, they can kind of mix it up with more tag teams. And, Eli Drake and Chris Adonis, they're called DNA, Hopefully we see even more of them, So, I'm hoping. So, okay. So next we have your 2017 match of the year. What do you got for this one?
Oh, man. Match of the year. I think I got to go with two from Slammiversary that I really enjoyed. It's got to be JB. There we go. It's got to be JB and Joseph Park versus Steiner and Matthews as a runner-up, and I got to go with Alberto and Lashley from Slammiversary.
So okay. So both of your matches were from Slammiversary.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. What do you like about these matches?
I thought it was a great brawl with JB and Joseph Park, and I thought it added a lot of elements. Great to see such surprises as Shark Boy and Father James Mitchell. And, man, I really did think Alberto and Lashley had a solid match. I mean, they really beat the crap out of each other.
Right. Yeah, no, they did good. But mine are going to be kind of, surprising because I don't know if a lot of people saw this. And but my match of the year is actually going to be Mike Bennett versus Moose at Impact One Night Only live. I just thought that match was brutal, and it was really good. Like, I liked pretty much everything about that match. I mean, it was, if you go back and watch it, it was just really, really well done. I mean, the fans were really into it, and had a lot of good hardcore aspects. And, this match kind of shows why Bruce is definitely, world title material. Bennett was out of his way. He was leaving the company. We kind of all knew that. But and by the way, I don't know if it was a good move for Bennett to leave Impact, because he's not doing too much in WWE right now.
Yeah. The thing, if I wanted to comment about that, I mean, I know he had some personal issues. I know he had to get some rehab, and he admitted, his addiction that he has. But yeah, as far as the whole power of love stuff, I mean, Maria's pregnant, and I think that was one of the main reasons why he went, because Maria went back over there. And yeah, you hardly ever see him on their television. Mostly he's just doing dark matches. So yeah, it is what it is, man.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure, what's going to happen, but I think I wouldn't mind, seeing the Miracle back in Impact Wrestling again. I'll just say that. But, it was my runner-up match was from Turning Point, which was also another one night only. It was the world title match between Lashley and Moose. They tore the house down in that match. Like, I encourage anybody who's got the network to go back, watch that match. It is just phenomenal. So many good, so many great spots in that match. But it was just awesome. So, all right. So that kind of brings us to the final award of the night, and that's going to be the 2017 Impact Wrestler of the Year. Who do you have, Larkin?
Dude, I've been a fan of his for many years. I've been enjoying his work just with the American Top Team. If I had to pick two, runner-up was Bobby Lashley, but I've really been enjoying Eli Drake. So I'm going to have to give it to Eli Drake with Bobby Lashley as a runner-up.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not put either one of those guys up there? I mean, they did so much, good stuff for the company, throughout the whole year. So, I as well am going to pick Eli Drake for 2017. Now, I know I picked him for wrestler or most improved, but he's definitely wrestler of the year for me as well. Like, he just elevated his game. And, so many people want to see him, so, and he did great, just great with everything. So, it's definitely Eli Drake, and I'm glad we agree on that. Other honorable mentions, you could put Bobby Lashley in there. Like, he's always a top name, and he just destroys everybody. I think his 2016 was a little better than his 2017. But another guy you could put is Eddie Edwards. I mean,
yep.
When Impact made those partnerships with, Noah and AAA, I mean, Eddie winning the GHC heavyweight title, I mean, that's a hell of a feat for itself. So, yeah, that's really all, really all I got for the awards. I think Eli Drake was the man to carry it. All right, so now that we did all the awards, what are you hoping for Impact going into 2018?
Wow. I'm just hoping for, Don Callis is, like I mentioned last time I was on with you guys, Don Callis is a smart dude. I hope he helps and improves and brings a lot of great talent into the company. A couple in mind, Emma for the Knockouts division, Tennille Dashwood, or Brian Cage. They're trying to get him from Lucha Underground. Cage would be awesome. Jack Swagger, I know, is doing some Bellator, so if you can get Swagger in there, I think Swagger could have some great matches as well. Very underrated. I'm just hoping for just a lot of good things for them, a lot of positivity, and a lot of good vibes.
How would you rate 2017 for Impact?
They've had some good, they've had some bad, a lot of ups and downs. If I had to give it out of a 10, I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, it's a solid score. Did you like 2016 from Impact better than 2017?
In a way, because the Broken gimmick was so hot, and they had so many great stuff with Apocalypto and the Final Deletion and stuff. And I know a lot of the guys left early, like Galloway, like we mentioned, the Bennetts, the Hardys. But yeah, in a way, 2017 as far as in-ring action, we added a lot of new people, and it's great in-ring. But yeah, 2016, and you had Cody Rhodes was in there as well. But yeah, man, looking at them both, I think 2017 had its moments, but yeah, 2016 had a lot of solid in-ring action as well. I think both of them, both years were fine in my opinion.
Yeah, I loved the thing I loved about 2017 was the India taping. I think that was a groundbreaker. I think just the X Division, coming back to life in 2017 was amazing. Like, I think they might have tried it in 2016, but 2017 it was like officially back. So, I think there was a lot of stuff to like in 2017. I think that the people in charge of the company now, Scott D'Amore, I've always been a huge fan of his. We know what he can do. He's booked TNA in 2004. He booked the Knockouts division from like 07 to 09, I believe.
Yep. Yes, he did.
That arguably that's the best time for the Knockouts division, even though I think it's really good right now. But
yeah,
he's a smart guy, and
yes.
I can't
and
wait to
Dutch
see
Mantel
Don Callis.
Don Callis as well. Dutch Mantel was a big part, like with the Knockouts as well too. Dutch, like I said, was great. Don Callis adds a lot. D'Amore's a smart individual. You have to see a lot of probably interactions with him and his company, BCW, there in Canada. So it's a lot of stuff to look forward to as far as relationships with a company, and adding more talent is very good and a positive for them.
Do we know Dutch Mantel's status with the company right now?
Oh, dude, I haven't even heard anything. All I really hear about is the more Callis relationship. I haven't even heard anything about Dutch Mantel.
Okay. Well, I think it's, obviously if Chris Jericho's to Anthem on these two, obviously Don Callis he's got to be pretty knowledgeable. We like the fact that, he's not an MBA. He's smart in business. I think that's exactly what, Ed Nordholm wants. And these guys know wrestling, and it's their first time ever being in this position. I think that the excitement alone, we're going to get some new ideas, fresh ideas. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
It is. There's a lot of creative stuff that we could see in 2018. Get the creative juices flowing, if you will.
Right. I think like in going into 2017, when we were most hopeful, like we knew we were kind of going to get it with Jeff Jarrett, and I think we kind of got that. We did get Jim Cornette, I think we did. We actually did mention that in the 2016 podcast for the award show. We didn't want to see it, but it happened. I predicted that we were going to get Scott DeMore. We did. Obviously, we're hoping for James Storm for champion, but that didn't happen. But as far as me for 2018, what I want to see is I do want to see a New Japan relationship. I think that would be really awesome to see, our guys in Wrestle Kingdom once again, like they used to. I don't even care if they bring some, C players just to kind of show that, hey, Impact's serious about, these guys, and they're serious about, wanting to, be a popular wrestling brand again. So I think, that itself would be a good thing. A Ring of Honor relationship would be interesting, but I don't think it has to happen. If they don't want it, then, that's fine. But if it did happen, there'd be a lot of cool matchups.
Yeah, I mean, we had it back in the day when Styles, Joe, and Daniel were over there. I mean, Christian Cage, when Christian was over there as the world champion, he wrestled for Ring of Honor, like two or three matches. But, yeah, I mean, that would be cool.
Did you say Christian Cage wrestled for Ring of Honor?
Yeah, he had it was a tag match. It was him and I believe Colt Cabana against Christopher Daniels, and I think when Daniel Bryan was there, and I think he also had a one-on-one match with Christopher Daniels there for Ring of Honor.
Oh, wow, I did not know that.
Yep.
Well, stuff you learn every day, I guess.
There you go.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I think, if they could get that relationship going again, I think that would be pretty cool. So as far as the wrestlers, Brian Cage, definitely. I liked him ever since I saw him on Chuck. I wish they would have signed him.
Me too.
It's too bad that they did it. But I hope to see him. I hope to see more Taya Valkyrie. There's a lot left with her and Rosemary that we didn't get, and then hopefully we'll get come 2018 we'll get to see what we missed at Bound for Glory, what it was supposed to be. I'm hoping that there's a lot of fresh talent out there. Like you said, Jack Swagger's out there. You still got Wade Barrett out there. You still got Ryback out there. I don't know if they'd be interested in bringing those guys in, but maybe look at James Storm. I don't know if they could come to a deal, but it'd be awesome. I hope so. Hopefully we don't lose EC3 and Bobby Lashley. So last year when there was the rumors circulating about Drew Galloway and Mike Bennett, they both came true, unfortunately, and they both left the company. I don't think any of us thought the Hardys would leave, especially after the broken stuff just kind of took off. And it's too bad that they couldn't come to a deal. But I'm really looking forward to the fresh ideas. I think it's kind of unknown what Don Callis and Scott DeMore are going to do. But I think from what I'm hearing is they kind of want to try to get back some of the original TNA originals, and they want to make contracts to them. I think that kind of sounds intriguing. I'm not sure who you could all get. I think it'd be awesome if Austin Aries back. I think he would be a solid talent.
Oh yeah, for the X Division Championship, yeah, he'd be great.
Yeah, I think it would definitely be interesting. So do you think the New Japan Pro Wrestling relationship is going to happen in 2018?
You never say never. I mean, I know they apologized to Okada for the way that he was treated or booked or whatever back in the day. There could be a lot of fresh matchups there with Okada, Naito, a lot of great talents in the New Japan market. I know Lance Hoyt, who was formerly Dallas in the company and was a part of Impact for many years. We could possibly maybe see him go there. I mean, Lance Hoyt and David Hart Smith Jr., what they're doing over there as a tag team, get to see them go against the great tag teams that are in Impact Wrestling. I think they would add a lot and be a huge asset to the tag division. So yeah, it could be very interesting to see if that relationship does come into fruition.
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of things to look forward to in 2018. I just really hope that, Impact, they figure it out, and hopefully they start making some money. That's one of the reasons why we lost a lot of talent, to try to, get back in the black, so to speak, and not be in the red anymore, which I'm totally cool with. And I can't wait to see, if the house shows come back a little, this year we only had 2, but hopefully in 2018 we have a little more. So I think, that's intriguing. So I'm hopeful that 2018 could be even a better year than 2017 was. And I can't wait to see what Callis and DeMore bring to the table. I hope to see some fresh, creative ideas. So
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Yep. Larkin, you got any final comments you want to say?
Really, I just want to say thank you again for having me on. It's always a pleasure to be talking with you guys and doing the HeelCast. Stay tuned for more with the S&M Show Podcast Network. Like I said earlier, you can check it out on SoundCloud, MC Larkin92, and the Twitter's at SM Show 1. And just hopefully more positive and more good vibes for Impact Wrestling. A lot of talent to be added, and I just look forward to seeing where this new regime with DeMore and Callis goes in 2018.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say much more before my voice goes to hell, like it kind of already has. But next week we will be doing. What was it next week? No, we won't be doing a show next week. We'll be doing one in 2 weeks after the first Impact for the new year, and hopefully we'll have an Impact every week after that. So, for Larkin, for all the other HeelCasters, for Hurls, we hope you have a great new year. We're out.
All right, peace. Happy New Year, everyone.